Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hollow Knight Marauders podcast. I'm AJ, and I'm joined here by my Bombad batch of Jamie and Matt. How you guys doing?
You're doing well.
Always good after that intro.
It's always a nice serotonin boost, right? That intro.
Yeah, right there.
Just a little.
We're joined here this week by Kristin Baever, Star Wars author Kristin Baever. How are you doing, Kristin?
Hello, I'm doing so much better actually after that intro. I was already doing pretty great, but unexpected joy.
Fantastic.
It's a pleasure to have you back on the show. I know we've had you on a couple times to talk about some of your works, that like this one here, which I do want to bring up because we had a museum-like situation in this one of these episodes in the Bad Batch. So
yes,
we will get to that.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had you on to talk about your work, and it's always fun to get like an author or someone that works in or on Star Wars to talk about, as a fan, to talk about this stuff. So we're here to talk about the Bad Batch with you. Episodes 10 and 11 of season 3, right?
Yes, correct.
Identity Crisis and Point of No Return. So
you got it.
We lucked out and we got you for 2 amazing episodes, 2 heartbreaking episodes. So this will be a nice discussion.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And it's so nice to talk about it as a fan. It's such an honor and a privilege to be able to work on something as your job that you're also passionate about and that you love. But you do have to kind of separate out professional version of yourself and the fan squealing excited version. Sometimes you kind of parse it out. So it's nice to be able to lean into the fandom tonight.
Oh yeah. So we got lots to talk about, but first, a question for just you, Kristin. I try to come up with like a unique one every week for our guest, and the best one I could come up with this week was to start the season. I know there was kind of a premiere out in at Lucasfilm in San Francisco, and
yes.
I know you kind of I don't want to say hosted it, but I know you were there talking with everyone on a kind of a panel. How was that experience?
Yeah, I moderated the panel. It was so fantastic. We've had a few events like that. I think they're technically like fan screening events. So there's been kind of a series of them. We did one for Bad Batch, I think in previous seasons, or no, we did one for when the Bad Batch was first introduced in the Clone Wars in season 7. And we had Dave Filoni and D. Bradley Baker, at Lucasfilm for a discussion around those episodes as well. So we've done a few of them. I think the first one I ever did at work was for Resistance, which was also a show that's near and dear to my heart, and had some amazing discussions. But it's just always so much fun to get to experience any Star Wars on the big screen, but especially at Lucasfilm in that theater.
Yeah. No, I mean, that must have been a special moment because it's the final season of the Bad Batch. This is, I don't want to say this is all we have with these guys left, because who knows what will happen in the future. But like, was there a standout moment or two from that event that kind of popped in your head?
Yeah, there were a few actually. So the event was just covering the first couple episodes, but we had Brad Brow and Jen Corbett there, as well as D. Bradley Baker and Michelle, and so we talked a little bit about the season as a whole, them saying goodbye to the Bad Batch and just how emotional that is. And we got into a little bit of Ventress, even though we didn't know exactly when she was coming yet in the season because she had shown up in the trailer. And Dee told this great story about how he just like imagined like Ventress in a barbershop with Wrecker, and he's like doing the voices, and it was all about her haircut, because I think that was his spoiler. He said like that episode is just about how it's all about Ventress's new haircut. So that was the real standout. And also right before the screening, the online team had brought in a couple of fans who were invited, and we had done this great recording with them where they just talked about how much the show meant to them. And then we snuck in Brad and Jen and Dee and Michelle, to surprise them. And it was just so lovely to see kind of, that interaction, and, not only for those fans to get to meet all those people unexpectedly, but also for the people making the show to really see, firsthand what an impact it has. Because I think it's so strange when you're making something, whether it's a book or, I imagine when you're working on a show like that, where you make it and then months go by, maybe even years, before anybody actually gets to see it and experience it and react to it. So there's just like this delay of, hopefully gratification, but, certainly a delay between you're creating and thinking, I hope this is good. I think this is good. And then it comes out in the world and you finally get that reaction. So just really neat to see that come together. And then later, while we were doing the Q&A after the screening, I made Jen Corbett cry with something I said, or something that was being discussed. And one of the women from the earlier meet and greet offered up her Omega stash of tissues for Jed. And I thought, just what a sweet moment of, just compassion and empathy. And just one of the things I really love about the Bad Batch, just as a fan, is how much of an emotional reaction I have to the storytelling and to the characters and to everything going on. So just to see that kind of rippling out and resonating was really sweet.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And one last thought, but I had told Brad Rao previously, while we were doing interviews, that I affectionately call Straw Lula Trash Lula in my mind. And so then during the Q&A, he said, "What do you call her?" And he totally outed me to the entire crowd, and I had to tell everybody Trash Lula the story. So now now we're owning it, because segue maybe into this week's episode, but Trash Lula's back.
Yes.
So did you start Trash Lula? Like, because we call Trash Lula as well. But maybe that started from you.
Honestly, I'd give it to Kristin. Like, if it was said at the screening, I'd give it to her. Period.
And
So
what
was that?
I don't know if I can take full credit, though, because I do think this might be something that happened kind of organically when I was talking to Kelly Knox, because Kelly Knox actually created the craft for StarWars.com that is Trash Lula. And so I can't take full credit. It could have been Kelly. It could have been me. Could have been you three. I don't know. It belongs to all of us.
So
it was you and Kelly.
Yeah, I gotta say, so she's not done. She's not done, and I gotta say, Kelly's tutorial, it's really, really good, but this is the kind of craft that genuinely makes you want to rip your hair out. It is not fun, and I do not wish it upon anyone, because my girl's not even done. Because I also read Kelly's instructions, and I was like, I'm gonna do something completely different than what she's saying, but kind of loosely read her instructions. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend that at all. But anyway, I just have felt the need to show my Wicker Man Trash Lula, actually, because I don't. It's just, here she is.
There she is.
I can't wait to see.
I love it so much. I feel like it just needs a face. This really makes it.
It pisses me off so bad, because I'm also allergic to hay, and so I my craft space, and I'm just I can't. I'm not doing too hot with this, and so she had to just go on the shelf for a little bit. Anyway,
couldn't we have gotten fake hay?
Yeah, so it was raffia, but the thing is, even though it's fake, my body is still are you sure?
Okay,
So
it's like placebo effect hay, or something.
Placebo effect hay fever.
Anyway,
are you googling it right now, Matt? Is
fake hay fever? Yeah, I'm googling it.
It's a thing. It's if it's an allergy like that, I have it. Okay.
So that is a great segue into our question of the week, which will be,
what are you allergic to?
Yep. No.
Let me list off the things.
So, if you were a kid in Star Wars, or an adult for that matter, what in-galaxy stuffed animal / plushie would you have? Obviously, this pertains to this week's episode, which I'll get to that when we get there. But I always have a soft spot for kids in Star Wars and their stuffed animals. There's one in every animated series, it feels like. Who was the one in Rebels? The Ithorian.
Oh yeah.
Was that one Pipey?
Pipey.
Or was
And
that Clone
He had a
Wars?
little stuffed animal that he lost. And then there was a couple in Clone Wars as well.
And the one in Resistance. Oh my god, the children of
oh yeah.
Oh my god, what's the planet?
There's always someone with a stuffed animal though. But...
Well, they never get the stuffed animal back, but they had it at one point.
But
there's a lot. There's a surprising number of cute toys in Star Wars animation when you really start thinking about it.
There
really,
really
are. Every once in a while, I see the concept art of the Bad Batch barracks repop back up, and it includes like the full like breakdown of like all the little details, and Lula's on there. And I always laugh at that version of Lula because she looks absolutely terrifying. She doesn't look cute. She looks like she's like seen like hell itself.
She's seen some things,
but like that one always makes me laugh. And then there's like older concept art, like older plush from like the Clone Wars. Like Numa has like the little like Tuca doll back in the Clone Wars and whatnot. And so like you see like that one looks really cute. And then it's just like, oh, we have like this like little Tuca, and then eventually terrifying Lula, and now we have just like all these new like little guys.
Live action, we get stormtroopers. We get stormtrooper toys,
wooden dolls.
Whether they're wooden dolls or Cyril's got his little play set,
Luke Skywalker
play set. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
To seriously answer this question, I need to think about it.
Yeah, but so what would everyone's plushie be?
Starly's just right here by my hand.
Well, I guess this is a good time to shout out. My mom made me this and gave it to me for Easter. Because she was like, yeah, she made this. She didn't follow any instructions online or anything. She just literally looked at pictures and
she even got the patch.
Made this. And she made
the
patch.
She put the patch on the back of her head.
She even put the patch on the back, guys. This was huge.
Great
she
job.
gave this to me for Easter. She's like, oh, it's a bunny. Just like Easter. I'm like,
wow.
Dude, this. So like,
you're just telling us now.
Well, I literally just got this. Well, I was gonna send you guys a picture, but I was like, I'm gonna put it in the background, and if the topic comes up,
I noticed that immediately. I was going to say something.
I love it. It's going right here.
Really well done.
Yeah, incredibly well done. So realistically, if my mom made me a Lula doll, then I'm gonna have to go with the Lula doll.
There you go.
That's a good answer.
I'd probably go with like a Porg. We have like a million stuffed Porgs around the house. They're all everywhere. But I'd probably go with the stuffed Porg, I guess. Or
they're literally like the Falcon. Like their house is like the Falcon. There's just Porgs everywhere.
There's just nests of Porgs everywhere.
Yeah, there are many in this house.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have to go with some variation of one of like the trooper like rag dolls, like Omegas, because it's like a little like stuffy one. It's pretty much like the ones you get on Batu, that look like all like the different creatures and characters. But I love Omegas. I so much that I've like made my own, and I've like made them for friends and everything. So gotta go with that. I'm like staring at it across the room, but I already got up to show you Trash Lula, so I'm like, do I want to like get like everybody in the corner over there? So.
Ooh, yeah.
Wampa with a detachable arm.
That's a good one too. Also, I'm gonna try not to knock everything over, but I'm just like full of all of my toys are close at hand for some reason. But I would obviously choose
a stuffed Snoodles.
Stuffed Snoodles is the winner.
Where was that made?
Easily.
This is a Celebration exclusive.
Oh, yeah, they had the Max Rebo too.
Yes,
they did. That Max Rebo did not come home with me, but Sice Noodles is a must-have.
Of course.
So
Okay.
Very limited space in that luggage situation coming back from London.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. But with that, we have our answers for our plushies of the week, I guess you could call it.
How did it just become that?
Get to the Bad Batch recap here. Jamie, you can grab the wheel here.
All right.
That was good.
So thank you. I'm driving, guys. Driving the show. So let's start with episode 10, Identity Crisis. So it wasn't about the Bad Batch as much as everyone thought it was going to be, which was very fun. I love that it was about Emery. I've loved her as a character from the start, and just what is your guys' take on Emery in general, even after this episode as well? Kristin, what's your take on Emery Carr?
I love her so much more after this episode. I feel like I've kind of warmed to her a little bit over time, a little bit more. But especially just having a whole episode mostly dedicated to kind of what she's going through and how she's, I think, struggling really with trying to figure out her place within the Empire now, with Nala Se, mostly out of the picture, kind of on the sidelines at least. So yeah, I love her. She's got great goggles. It's a great design for a character, but I think she's just phenomenal.
Yeah. To go off of that, like, I think when the season started, I was like, okay, she's a little creepy, I guess, in a way. I mean, everyone working in Mount Tantus seems to be a little creepy, especially Dr. Hemlock. I keep saying he's a Bond villain. That's what he feels like with his poisons.
Yes.
And I feel like he's always like twiddling his hands or something. Like, he has that thing with his hand.
Yeah, he does.
So I was like, I don't know about her, but I sensed like a redemption story there somewhere. And I thought it was going to kind of happen when Omega was escaping early on. But she didn't quite come around to that yet. But I see her point of view. She wanted to kind of protect Omega at the same time, kind of like Nala Se. But then in this episode, with what she has to go through with the kids, and like this was one of the most depressing things in Star Wars. It was really heavy, and like what she had to go through, I think she is starting to turn, and we'll get to more later, I assume. But yeah,
I think you can definitely see a moment when if we're not jumping ahead too far, but when she goes to the pickup spot.
That's pretty far ahead, but yeah.
Okay, all right, but
that's fine.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Never mind.
Yeah. So before we get there, we need to start on the planet itself. So StarWars.com released like the info about like where this was and whatnot. So it's a planet called Karad. Karad. I'm not sure. Karad.
How do you spell
with a D at the end. Caraad. Karad.
Okay.
I was gonna say I can spell it, but I can't say it.
Yeah.
Karad. I don't know. Pick your poison. And we have the two Tarlafars, and these were aliens from Solo. They were like little hamster aliens.
What a
like
deep cut. I love the aliens in Solo. I love seeing them appear in other things.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this alien was in Solo until somebody pointed it out. I was like, oh my God, there.
Right. Yeah.
It was in the background.
Stands behind Han during the first poker game, or sorry, Sabacc game. Excuse me.
You know who was also at that
I'm gonna
game?
sign off. Whoops.
Drop him.
Oh, scissor punch.
Yes.
Scissor punch.
All right.
Why do we still have that?
Because we
Why
love
not?
the
I knew it would
aliens
come
in
up.
Solo. I
Yes.
just said it.
How did that make the cut? I feel like I literally clean out like the pictures we have like every other week, and
I brought him back.
Did not know that one was still in the files. So
he's got a way. He finds a way to just sneak into conversations.
And he does. So we have the little baby Baron and his mom Ailish, and they are just adorable. And I love everything about this family, even though it's just clearly the two of them, and she's trying to do the best that she can. And we'll get back to the stuffed animals aspect of things, because not only does he have his own little Tarlafar, he also has
he's got a whole set.
He has a full batch of buddies. Like, guys,
we need those at the next Star Wars
Hold
celebration.
Yeah.
Yes. Cosign.
Yeah.
Easily.
And a Batcher plushie. Please.
Oh my gosh. I have been asking for a Batcher plushie for weeks. Just anyone who will listen to me, yell it in the hallway.
Now that Batcher is brought up, let me ask you this. What do you think Batcher feels like when you pet her?
Oh.
This has been a question that has come up every single week. It's not something we've planned it, but like every single week we have to get a perspective on this.
I feel like velvet.
Velvet.
Okay. I feel like that's kind of where we're at. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like
I think she's armored. I think she's hard.
I think a rhino.
Yeah.
Is that I've never patted a rhino, but like
I would say rhino.
Okay.
Sure.
I think she's like a seal. So like
and
like one direction, everything like sticks up, and then
yeah. I think maybe I just like want it to be velvety too, because I feel like I don't know what a rhino feels like, but elephant skin is kind of like sandpapery, and I imagine it might be similar, where it's like it's a little rough and abrasive. And I just want Batcher to be like cuddly, so when like she and Omega take a nap, that they can just like snuggle and everything. It's like soft.
Sandpaper doesn't mean she's not cuddly.
My biggest fear is that my biggest fear whenever I see Omega like snuggled up to her is that Batcher feels like a shark or something, and she's just like cold. Like that. I'm not even kidding. That is like my biggest fear. And like that's not cozy. I'm sorry.
That's your biggest fear? Not what happens in these episodes.
Well,
Look, if I had a friend with a pet iguana, they'd be
So-
very offended right now.
well, okay. That's all I have to say about that.
Clone
So,
Humor brings
from
up
there.
the Aqualish running his
62 cents.
running his stall there. Does the kid throw the doll, like force throw the doll kind of or something? And
He
I
forced
mean-
through the vase, didn't he?
oh,
That was the thing. And then they were like,
vase.
that kid's not strong enough to throw the vase on his own.
Yeah, they were arguing over that.
Yeah.
If
They
the
were
kid
like,
was
"Oh,
strong
it's
enough.
Weird,
Yeah.
weirdo."
I think you don't really see it. It sort of like happens off screen,
Yeah.
Mm.
but then it's like they're all reacting to it, and I don't know. Like, you know how sometimes with characters, you're just like immediately on site, like, no, none of, like, this is some hot nonsense. I do not like this. That's how I felt with that Aqualish. I was just like, this one's going to be a problem.
He's just doing his duty.
He's so shifty
He's trying
outright.
to
Like
make
he
his way in the
immediately knew.
universe.
So he calls for a class 1 bounty hunter. And this is a totally off-topic question, but since they rank bounty hunters by class, who do we think would be like a class like 5 bounty hunter? So like they're really bad at their job.
The guy in I forget his name. I always get this guy and the guy in Fallen Order mixed up. Is it Toro Calican?
Yes.
Oh, Toro.
Yeah.
And
He would be
Mandalorian,
class
yeah.
5.
Easily.
Yeah,
I
you
think
would.
so.
Oh my god.
The guy that Obi-Wan Kenobi shaved his head to look like. Oh, what was his name?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Hardin.
Rico Hardin.
Rico
Rico
Hardin.
Hardin,
Yep.
dude.
Yeah.
Yes. And
There
I'm
we go.
specifically
Swallowed, like,
talking
the
about the Obi-Wan
voice changer.
version.
Yeah.
These are the class 5s.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so
Yeah.
Cad Bane is our class 1 bounty hunter, and I love how I mean it's the kind of thing like we knew Cad was going to be in the show based on the trailer, but like him actually showing up, just hearing the spurs,
Yeah.
guys.
So good.
I was ready. I was ready. Like I am not a fan of his actions in the slightest, but I'm pretty sure at this point in time Cad Bane actually might be like my favorite bounty hunter in Star Wars.
Ooh.
Just gonna
You know,
throw that out
I
there.
just have to say, like, Cad Bane, he's such a bastard. Like, sincerely, like, it's so funny. Like, it's like I want to love him, but he does so many like just heartless things, and it's like,
That's
oh
why.
my god,
Nothing worse than stealing kids. And he did it in Clone Wars as well.
But he's good
He
at it,
did.
and
He
he
is
brags
So
about
good
it.
at it. Also, I feel like while I was watching this episode, I was trying to kind of parse out who I thought the title was about. And I never for a second thought it's about Cad Bane. He is having an identity crisis.
No.
He knows exactly who he is and what he's about and how good he is at his job. He's
the
just
most helpful.
tossing credits at people, as he walks by.
You know
We
what
should all
though?
strive to be Cad Bane. Really.
I would say though that Toto has an identity crisis this episode.
Yeah, right.
Because
love
like
He's not
yeah.
a nanny droid.
exactly, and then he actually like succeeds at like appeasing the child, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I can do this." And Cad's like, "Oh my god, destroyed."
I will say, maybe the title is about the Aqualish because he seems to have felt pretty bad about his decision.
Mm.
I think
He's still on my list. I'm sorry.
here's a prediction. I think he's going to show up season finale and he's going to free the kids. I think the Aqualish he's
With
going to
his-
bust in through the wall in Tantus. He's going to be like, "Come on, kids! Yep, come on, kids, get out of here! Let's go!" That's my prediction.
All right.
Aqualish. Got it.
Write that down.
Okay.
That's my
Let
main
me write
prediction.
that one down.
Rise of the Resistance style, just like busting the door down. and
Yes.
Cut through the wall. He's going to come out. Come
no
on, kids."
spoilers for Rise
Get
of
out
the
of here.
Resistance. but-
Come on. But yeah, I love Cad Bane, and like just I love everything like about westerns. Like you guys like know this at this point. I like talk about it to like literally to the cows come home.
Western.
And something else that like it not kind of related to like the whole Cad Bane thing is I love how they bring back versions of his theme, and it is just like so like western tone with like the way that his like musical theme is and whatnot, and just like the vibe of
Kiners.
it. And so I say it every week. The Kiners, just like guys, it's
Unbelievable.
So good.
For real.
It's always so good. And like this week, like specifically, like in this episode and the next, but like this one was like really, really, really strong between like the bringing back Cad Bane with the Western themes, bringing back all the stuff for Tantus, and then just putting so many synths in this episode. Kristen, I apologize in advance. I love synthwave and synth music like so much, and I talk about it all the time. And synth in Star Wars just makes so much sense. Like again, till the cows come home, can talk about like music in Star Wars, and like this episode, like. I'm sorry, AJ. I'm not really leading the conversation that well this week because it's becoming just me, just like, we got the Spurs in space, we got the synthwave, we got the Western, throwing the credits
music,
around.
Hey,
and, oh my God.
you're hitting all the notes. The
music.
There we go.
That's a good one. You meant it.
No,
take credit
subconsciously, I meant it. So, what was I gonna say? So
No idea.
in the first episode, there wasn't like a lot of dialogue, and I think that's why the music was so noticeable and so good. Like there was very little dialogue throughout the episode. It was just a bunch of one-liners, Emery talking to the kids here and there. It was really quiet in Mount Tantus, as it usually seems to be. And our friends, Corey and Aubrey, had a chat with the Kiners the other day, and it was a great interview. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. But I love how they mentioned that the Kiners music, the soundtrack, the score, whatever you want to call it, is a character of this show itself. They said that, so I don't want to steal that from them, but like I love that. It really is in all of these things. Like Star Wars music is a character in itself, whether it's John Williams or the Kiners or whoever making it, Ludwig. Like I don't know, it's so important to Star Wars, and like the work in this show is unbelievable. These two episodes alone, the first episode 10 especially, highlighted that for me.
Yeah,
I would agree, but I would say episode 11 for me.
Okay,
but we'll get to that later.
Maybe the synth waves won me over as well, probably in episode 10.
So, one more thing to say about Cad Bane. I just realized that I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about him since Cobb Vanth got shot. And I just needed to say, per the Hollow Knight Marauders lore, that Cobb Vanth had to be mentioned. And then, sorry.
That's
anyway.
True. And we had to remember once again, Cad Bane is a bastard.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yet another reason. So let's go to Mount Tantus. Let's go to Mount Tantus and figure out like what's going on with that. As we're all glasses wearers here in the room tonight, how do we feel about Emery's like set of glasses and all the scientists in the vault for that matter?
Glasses representation is so important in Star Wars, and we hadn't gotten it. And so the only person we got who had glasses in Star Wars outside of the Ewoks movies was that one Imperial spy in Rebels that I cannot get enough of, that looked like Al from Al's Toy Barn. And I loved that guy. And I was devastated when they killed him off. So
and then
the
Dr. Pershing.
And then Dr. Pershing showed up, and I was like, this is it. This is my guy.
Yeah.
And then we got Tech.
And then we got Tech.
Tech.
And his glasses.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So yeah, I love how Emery is, straight off kicks off everything by just approaching Hemlock directly and saying, "I'm gonna shoot my shot," and just like ask Hemlock, "I want to lead the project." That I love her or hate her at this point in time. You gotta just respect the fact that she was like, "I'm gonna just like tell him that I have the knowledge to like be doing more. So give me more." And Hemlock's like, "All right."
That's that climbing easy. The Imperial ladder. I mean,
that's it.
I always like to say Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. That's Admiral Piet's story. That's a man climbing the ladder, searching for his opportunity and just taking it each and every time it's offered. And that's how you do it in the Empire. You wait for your superior to screw up and die or get locked up, and then you
climb over the body,
and then you climb right over the body. And on your way up, you use them as a rung, and you just keep going.
That's pretty much exactly what happened too. Although she does go back to go talk to the person she spoke over, though. But yeah, so she finally gets access to the vault, and we see what's inside the vault. So AJ, you mentioned this to me the other day that the vault was very to you, the Rainbow Room for Stranger Things. It was very similar to like that. In what you want to like talk about that a little bit more?
So I did say that to you, and I think Matt had the idea as
AJ,
well.
I was about to say AJ.
Hey, I didn't look. I don't know where his ideas come from.
Fair enough.
Matt,
I'm definitely not the first person to think about that.
Matt, you're our third wheel. No, I didn't know.
You guys are the Stranger Things people. I mean, I love Stranger Things, but you guys are the Stranger Things. So you talk about it.
Well, I mean, it was very. It was just a creepy, quiet room with like toys in it with kids. So that alone was like the rainbow room for Stranger Things. And if people here who haven't watched Stranger Things, they probably have no idea what we're talking about. But essentially, creepy kids room, and the kids there kind of have superpowers. The Force
Move things
here.
with their minds. Yep.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting like one of the kids or any of the kids to use like the Force in this room.
Yeah,
but it kind of makes sense that they
surprised they
wouldn't.
didn't.
I mean, look at Omega, for example. I mean, she will probably be in there next time we see her, unfortunately. And she can't really use the Force as far as we know either. So I guess that makes sense.
The Aqualish will bust her out.
But it's just like, there's something creepy. I mean, of course, there's something creepy when kids are like imprisoned like this, of course. So like, it was so depressing. And Matt, I don't know if you want to take it from here with the rainbow room.
I mean, yeah, that was my first thought was immediately, as soon as I saw these kids sitting around at the table playing some dumb 3D Tetris block game. I don't know what the heck's going on there. I don't know what they're
better
doing.
Toys in there.
They got to get better toys for those
educational
kids.
toy, not a fun toy.
I don't know what you could possibly learn from looking at a bunch of blocks, just stacking a bunch of blocks, but whatever. Yeah, that was, definitely the first thing. Not what I was expecting to be behind the vault. I jokingly predicted that it would be clones of Asajj Ventress. I never thought that was legit, even though AJ said that multiple times on our show that was my prediction.
There was multiple vaults, right? Because we saw the one where Palpatine went.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's just kind of like a different hall.
And we saw Hemlock looking into some kind of like tube or container or something, and we don't know what's in that. So there's still mystery surrounding them. But yeah, just not a fun time. Doesn't look like they're having a lot of fun. There's no stimulation. There's nothing there to get these kids, minds working.
The one girl, Clone Humor brings up, Eva, I think was the one. She was very optimistic. The other kids were kind of down on it, and she was just like, I don't know.
I mean, don't speak for the Pantoran. We have no idea what the heck's going on in their mind because they didn't say.
Didn't talk. They didn't talk at all. They didn't talk at all. They weren't addressed at all. We don't know anything about them. We don't even know their testing number or their name.
No.
We only know the other two, Jax and Eva.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, before we get too far about it, I think that all three of them clearly are Force sensitive, and they have the M count, high midichlorian count, because when Hemlock is giving the introduction about all of them, he talks about how they're the prime samples essentially, and he also goes on to explain that okay, I literally wrote this down in quotes. You ready for this? So that Hemlock says M count cannot be replicated from the source. We know this. And then Omega's blood is the only one that's a viable binder with the M count blood. So this tells us so much. It tells us that Omega is not Force sensitive. She is not
double negative Force sensitive.
No, sorry, that was for emphasis. Force sensitive. She is not Force sensitive. But her blood is special enough to mix with someone that has the high M count in order to produce a clone that's Force sensitive. I don't know. Blood. Yeah,
crazy dark science.
Secrets only the Sith knew. Exactly. Yeah. Hemlock goes on to explain that the reason that they have the children is because they're easier to obtain and control.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but
yeah.
But this is the moment. Kristin, you mentioned earlier we were going to talk about when Emery's picking up the new kid. This is the moment Emery is literally like, "Oh my god, we're the bad guys."
Yeah.
This is the moment. It's it reminds me of back in Mando season 1 or maybe 2 when the Empire has Grogu and they're putting the little handcuffs on him, and it's
why do we have child-sized handcuffs?
Yes.
Don't
why do they just have that?
The now we know. Oh my god, we're the bad guys. This is the moment. Everything. So seeing all of these kids locked up, Emery didn't know that the research was going this far. She'd never really questioned the extent of her research. She just was like, this is what I was made for, to do the research. But why are we doing this? Now she's getting the questioning.
This was kind of I feel like this was kind of like the Agent Callus episode for Emery Carr. Of that all started for Callus when he's with his boyfriend Zeb on that moon. And that all starts there, and then he sees the Ghost Crew give Zeb the appreciation that they find him. The Empire doesn't care that Callus is back, but different story here. But I feel like this is kind of that, as someone in the comments mentioned, as Dylan mentioned, a face turn episode for Emery Carr.
For sure.
But
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Definitely. Sorry, just rereading through my things.
I will say these Force sensitive kids, there's an opportunity here. If they free these Force sensitive children, they need to take them to Asajj, and Asajj needs to babysit and train these kids.
Okay,
That's
okay.
a show. That's a show I would watch. That is a show I would watch every day on repeat. Just Asajj Ventress just dealing with these 3 kids, like, oh my god. She's flying.
It's like a Muppet Babies crossover, but it's like Asajj's nanny.
Yes, exactly. I'm telling you. She's got them all crammed in her little ship, and she's like, I told you to go before we left. But I didn't have to go then. Oh my god.
I love how the species that they picked for the 3 kids were like 3 of the most like colorful alien species that you'd like ever seen. Because like we have this like stark white like room, and then we have the Mirialan, the kid who's green, the Pantoran who's blue, and the Ikitachi who's red or pinkish red, and they're just all so cute, and they all just like they're so bright and like kind of hopeful. At least one of them is at that point in time, and it's just again just like shoving it back to the Empire of just like, what are we doing, guys? What is happening here?
Ikitachi representation in Star Wars either. I was thrilled. They're one of my favorite species from the prequels. So anytime we get more of them, although this one was rather sad, but most of the time when we get more of them, I'm all in. I'm all happy.
I mean, she was a little hopeful, though. You know, I think of a lot of them, she's the one that seems to have retained her, childlike innocence, and is, willing to go up to the new doctor and introduce herself, and kind of be a little bold in that way. So not totally worn down like the rest of them.
Yeah,
she's definitely the one that's like been there the least. Just because like of that, she's just like willing to actually work with everybody. But let me switch over to Nala Se. So what do we think that like her goal is at this point in time?
Well, she's not in control of much.
I don't think she has one. Sit and stare at the wall. That's her goal.
I mean, I think Kristin, maybe I don't want to step over.
Oh no, go ahead.
This, but,
go ahead.
I mean, I think I think she just cares about Omega's well-being at this point. I think that was like her last thing she cared about, and she's probably going to see her again if Omega comes back to Tantus, and be like heartbroken over that. So I'm hopeful that if Omega gets back and they all escape like we hope, maybe Nala Se can get out with them, or maybe Nala Se will make one last sacrifice or something. But I don't think her story's over yet, even though she's in a cell. But we'll see. I don't know. She's so broken. Like her voice, I think they did a good job with it, but it's like so noticeable how she can barely talk. Like there's so much space in between her words, and like she's been through so much. Camino blowing up, and that whole turn of events, and being here now in this awful place. So
she is like being very cryptically supportive of Emery, though. Because Emery goes to her. No, I'm serious. I mean, like the Kaminoans in general are always just very cryptic with just like the way they talk. But she's being like super cryptically, like being like leading her on with like some conversation, because like Emery goes to ask her for advice, pretty much to say, hey, are we doing the correct thing here? Like, why is this the project? And Nala Se is just like, oh well, I don't know, but this is what the project is, and now you're running it. I think that the most interesting thing though is like Emery says to Nala Se, I don't have the power in order to like change what the experiment like is and everything. And Nala Se just says back to her, don't you? And so like, what does that mean? Like Nala Se, what does that actually mean? Like,
Nala
don't
Se
you?
Telling you
like,
to believe in yourself.
So I have a theory. You ready for this?
Okay.
With great power comes great responsibility. Sorry.
That's not the theory. So at the end of season 2, the last thing that is said is Emery says to Omega, I'm your sister. And she's a clone of Omega. Bear with me. Has Emery tested her own blood? Like, has she? Has that happened?
The eyebrow raise.
Like
the eyebrow raise that happened.
That's
a serious question.
Great
Has
point.
she tested her own blood to like use this? Because if she's a clone of Omega, it shouldn't be that degraded. But what do I know?
See,
I
that's
have no
interesting
idea.
because I hadn't even considered she was a clone of Omega. I thought she was just another female clone. that they made.
It's also actually wild that all of the scientists in the vault are all women, and they all also look like clones. That's just another random observation that I'm unsure about. I don't know what to think about that.
They all kind of look like Emery too. So like I don't know.
Look like Emery or Dr. Scalder.
Oh, yeah, where's she been?
I don't know, in the vault
God.
with those awful bangs. It's true. But yeah, I want to know if Emery ever tested her own blood, because I feel like Nala Se might be like alluding to, you have the power. You have the power, Emery. Like I don't know, because like that's just the way Nala Se talks as well, though. But like, what does she actually mean? And then at the very end of the episode, Emery is doing the blood samples, and she's just kind of like sitting there, like, wait a minute, what am I doing? And so like, it's a thought, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
A thought, and now you'll know. So what else is going on?
That's one of your 2 great theories. That you have another one later that I was on board for too.
I can't wait.
Ooh.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. What else happened this episode?
Sadness.
Heartbreak.
Oh no.
A baby in a prison onesie happened.
A baby in a prison onesie. I do find it funny. Going just quickly back to Cad Bane, when the kid was crying and Cad Bane's like, keep that kid quiet, shut that kid up or whatever. Like just close the container.
No, just like, no.
Like he's like, oh, I gotta figure out how to do it. It's like, dude, just press the button. Close the container.
Like I said,
I mean, it's probably not soundproof though. Like you're probably
that's a
gonna
bad
hear it
baby
just, like,
container.
bad baby.
That's a bad baby
it's
container.
It's not doing its job.
They at least let the baby keep the stuffy, the plushie, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
because
it's something.
They're
That's
not all
attachment.
bad.
so
Yeah.
that's because Emery is having the identity crisis, and so she lets the baby keep the doll, and to the point where she even saves Strala to give to Eva.
So then she's gonna make other trash.
Is that what you call
I
her?
don't know, Strala. Yeah.
Strala.
Strala.
Strala,
Trashula.
Trashalula.
Strala makes more sense, because like she was just like actual straw. It's not like Omega was. Anyway, we're not getting into that now. We got into that like what episode is this? 10? We got into that like 8 weeks ago. So, oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. I keep like losing my place.
It's all good.
Strala.
So what about not Strala? So what about the pickup? Cad Bane delivers the baby. And the pickup is Emery and Scorch are both there. How do we feel like about like that entire like handoff and that scene in general?
Scorch is a bastard.
Add him
I
to
feel
the
bad
list.
saying that too.
That is just like your word of the night.
It is, but it because everybody in this episode could qualify.
True.
Scorch and
Scorch, what happened, buddy? What are you doing?
Scorch and Emery have some sort of beef. Like Scorch does that long stare down when he walks off camera. So they got something going on.
They got beef. I believe it.
Yeah, and Cad mentions, I think, you're not the usual person that comes for the pickups. So I wonder who that was. It seems like Scorch usually goes, but maybe someone else goes. I don't know.
Maybe
it's Dr. Scalder and her bangs. Who
Oh,
knows?
that's it.
There you go.
Could've
That's
been.
who it was.
She's got to keep him looking nice for Cad.
You're 100% right. Yeah.
Matt, no. No. Oh gosh.
We
This has
kind
gone
of
off the rails.
went around the one kid trying to escape.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
he's kind of-
yeah.
that.
Jax.
I was gonna go back to
shifty-eyed.
that.
Yeah.
So that kid's been plotting a long time. He's like inciting his like own like little rebellion. He watches the guards come and go. Like he knows how like the data pad system works, and he tries multiple times. And Emery also tries to protect him in turn, because she doesn't see it. Well, she sees it as wrong, but she doesn't see it as like something that's just like unforgivably wrong. But
Kid plotted for a long time, and that's the best he could come up with. Oh, let me just steal their iPad. They won't have any other countermeasures. I'm just gonna run up, press the button on the door, and it's just gonna work. No such thing as
It's-
alarms.
you
No
know,
It was the best plan out of anyone else, I guess.
it's
He
very
tried.
it's very Andor. It's very One Way Out in Arcana 5, minus the electrified floors.
Yeah.
Not that we know of.
Yeah.
Because the only way that like they could escape from Narkina was when there was a new prisoner coming in, because that's the only time there would be like the access to actually leaving. So therefore, Jax knew the only time he could have any access to it if there was some sort of change in the normal people. And so there was a new doctor. So he's like, oh, this is it. This is the moment. I'm gonna escape. And he almost succeeds, and then no. The poor kid.
Does he almost succeed though?
Well, he
did nothing.
He almost did, but they locked it down too quickly because everyone
got
there
to the hallway.
they were on top of it.
He had a long way to go
into that guy's house if he didn't lock his door. Man, he really got me. Oh.
The door wasn't unlocked. Oh no!
My foolproof plan of trying to open the door didn't work. Oh man.
Hey, for all he knows, that is the outside. I guess he doesn't know how much more facility there is. Probably.
Not.
Who knows?
Yeah.
He just wants to go home. They all just want to go home. And that them saying that just made it so sad.
I know. Oh God.
Yes. Yeah. This episode was so tough, like for that matter, because it was just kids being captured and kids being abducted and being experimented on, which we never want to see in anything. But it was so important to see, though, just to see that side of the Empire, like again. And I love that Star Wars isn't afraid to show us these atrocities.
Well, it's
a silly thing to say, but it's true.
Something I wanted to bring up before we got to the next episode was a theory that's been floating around since the Bad Batch kind of started. I think it was Brad Rao or Jennifer Corbett came out and said that, you know, this show will kind of tie into what's going on in Mandalorian, I think they said, which we can see that sort of now with they mention M count. So that alone is a thing. And Project Necromancer, which is really cool to see that connection. But I remember way back when we were like, oh, what if Grogu is in Mount Tantus or something? And like, he's obviously, I don't think there right now, but you see this, when this baby came in, all I could think of, and especially in the floating pod, all I could think of was Grogu in that situation. So like, yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if Pershing is there.
Oh, and we know the Pershing. Pershing has
the patch. He has the outfit.
He has the patch.
He's got the patch. That's the only thing you need to get in.
I feel confident without any knowledge that supports this explicitly that Dr. Hemlock owns tiny baby binders. Like he just has them in his desk. I feel like he's ready to arrest some babies.
He's been carrying those around since before the Empire. He's just had them all.
Yeah, like he's just owned them. He just feels like the type.
I love that everyone has the portable M count blood sampler analyzer. Like Cad Bane has one, and like obviously Emery has one. I'm assuming also Ventress has one because like she must have done that like off screen, because I thought that was really funny how she was just like, yeah, oh my god, she's fine. How'd you back that up? I want to know. So like I feel like everyone has these like little like devices. It's just like the new add-on accessory. So you have like your phone and like your MP3 player like going on.
And your midichlorian counter.
Yeah. There you go.
I like that.
But yeah, I don't want to talk about episode 10 anymore, guys.
I mean, we've
so sad.
We've crossed the 45-minute mark on episode 1.
I told you
of the two episodes.
Look, we knew this was going to happen. Like usually we're on about an hour or so, but we knew that with 2 episodes this was going to happen. And like before this episode we went live, I did like a speed watch, and I'm like rewatching this episode, and I'm like, oh my god, there's just like so much happening.
So dense.
It is so
There's so much, but the good news is episode 11 is when everything gets happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So before we actually go to episode 11, AJ, a question. Do you want to do character of the week for episode 10 and then also for 11?
Yeah, we might as well, right?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. So this is when we pick our favorite character from the episode. And then we'll go back to do it for the next one. So character of the week for episode 10. Kristin, who would you pick as your character of the week?
You know, I want to say Strala, but I'm going to go with Sweet Baby Bairn because Strala was my character of the week for week 1.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
I like
love
that.
Can't have repeats. And also just, I love that baby so much.
I do too.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah.
I'm going with Pantoran Child. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot under the surface there that we're just ready to see, and I'm ready for them to just kind of unleash. Can't wait.
Okay.
There's potential.
Yeah. AJ.
So it's not an Eva sweep as Clone Humor wants, but I'm gonna go with Eva to have that much.
It's an Eva sweep in our hearts.
optimism while you're in that situation is very
Who is she? Omega?
amazing. Yeah, and Omega with these guys is going to be if they're all there, I imagine like it's going to be the dream team in there.
It's gonna be great.
So
I'm gonna just throw it out there. My character of the week was Cad Bane's Spurs. No, but actually it was Cad Bane. Like I love seeing him on screen. I love every single one of his appearances, even though he like does awful things to my favorite characters. Anytime he's on screen, I'm just like, there he is. That's the guy.
He shoots Cobb Vanth. He steals babies, and you choose him for
Hunter.
character of the week.
He shot Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter.
Like I said, he's like nearly killed like 2 of my favorite characters, but like I still love this guy. So.
Nearly killed 3 of your favorite characters.
Who's the
Reiko Hardin.
Yeah. Hey, Reiko Hardin's
kill that guy.
Amazing.
No, but he almost killed Obi-Wan as disguised as Reiko Hardin.
Okay, there you go. Anyway, very cool. So let's move on to the point of no return, and we'll try to get through it not super quickly, but quicker than we did the first one. So I gotta say, I love how this episode started in the very top left corner. It said moderate violence.
Moderate violence. No.
Trying to think what that would have been.
You try to think of what it would have been.
Well, like what was out of the ordinary though?
They blew up the Marauder.
Violence against.
I'm gonna say it. Like I'm sorry, I need to be all the way back here.
This is a big one.
If the soundtrack is a character, the Marauder is definitely a character.
Absolutely.
You're talking to the Marauders. We know.
You know.
Okay.
Preaching to the choir.
I didn't want to jump into it immediately, but I actually did. So the Havoc Marauder is arguably my favorite ship in all of Star Wars, and in
what
the
about
trailer,
Hera and Kanan?
All
right,
that's a good one. Good one.
I've had some bad ones today.
We're not. Why do you?
I'm trying to lighten the mood.
You can't lighten the mood.
Although
and just bring up Kanan.
That's kind of a tragic ending, also.
You know what happened? Okay, sorry, gonna derail. You know what happened to me immediately after watching episode 11? We watched that episode. All of that trauma happens. I go on my computer to do some stuff in Marauders. The last thing I was looking at was fabric for Kanan, and I'm like, oh my god, like I can't like escape this. Like it's just.
And the picture of live action Kanan.
Oh my god!
Freddie Prinze Jr.'s face, like with a patch. I was like, oh my god, that's so good.
That's so good.
I can see the Lego Marauder right there.
You see that?
Yeah, well, you know what you got to do now to make it lore accurate.
No, we're not going to do that.
Don't do it.
No, don't actually.
We're not going to do that. Long-time listeners of Hollow Knight Marauders know how deep it goes with me in the Marauder. Before the Bad Batch show even appeared, I was literally just that was it. That was my favorite bit going into the Bad Batch was just talking about their stupid ship. It is so important to me, and there was a shot in the trailer of it exploding, and eagle-eyed fans deduced that's what it was, and I was telling the guys, and they're like, are you sure that's gonna happen? And I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen, and I'm not prepared for it. And just nothing could have prepared me for it, but it has happened now, and now I have a dozen just Marauders around the house, and they make me sad every time I look at them. I literally have the entire Bad Batch just grouped around my Lego one behind me, and they're all just looking at it, and I'm just guys, don't do that. So
no, I mean it is sad. It's extra sad.
Anyway,
it's extra sad because it'd be like the Ghost. I mean, it's not quite like the Ghost. I think the Ghost, for me personally, means a little more because we spent more time there and saw more of the inside. But it's up there. It's not just their ship; it's their home.
Yeah.
If the Ghost blew up, I'd be traumatized. So the Marauder blowing up, Omega's room's in there. Luckily, they got Lula out of there. The fact that Lula, Gonki, both were out of there, it's okay, that thing's a goner.
Thank goodness, dude. Oh my god, I thought for the splittest second, I was like, oh Gonki, oh no, and but then Wrecker
so
takes the time to tackle a Gonk droid. My hero.
I love that. like 5 seconds before that, though, Wrecker's like yelling at Gonki. I think Wrecker's like threatening to leave Gonki behind. Like
Yeah.
they're having a time. Wrecker's asking for ice cream or ice pops, whatever. And then it's like as soon as it goes down, he tackles the droid and like runs.
Oh,
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. Like you just know where Wrecker's heart's at.
Yeah, like Gonki is just like also just like so important to the group, and the fact that he is just going out of his way no matter what to protect that silly defective droid is just so important.
He's a batch. He's part of the batch.
Did
He
Gonki
is.
land in the water?
I think so.
And then he
I'm glad like
floated
that
somehow.
didn't. I never knew like if it. We see R2 going in the swamp and all that stuff. So
And he doesn't float.
yeah.
I don't know.
R2
Maybe
sinks like a rock. What's I think Gonki's hollow. I think he's empty.
well, that's why he's defective, ladies and gentlemen.
He's full of air. No, but that saved him.
Let's go back pre-explosion. So we go to the museum, and this is something that's like super important. And one of the last times we talked to Kristin, we talked about museums in Star Wars because your 100 Objects book was pretty much a little museum. So how was it like actually seeing a museum again, like being shown in Star Wars?
I love it. And I was actually talking to my friend Chris Kempshall, who's also a Star Wars author, Dr. Chris Kempshall. I'm like contractually obligated to say the doctor, I think now. But we were chatting about it because I was like, oh, I made myself sad by making a new databank entry for the goggles as they're put into the Archium. And he was like, oh, yeah, you need another 100 objects because you could put that in there. And I was like, I do need 100 other objects now because it's so lovely. Also, the way they introduce that museum in this episode and just the conversation happening between Omega and Liana, where, we touched upon this, I think, or the series touched upon it a little bit in season 2, I think, when they first really introduced Pabu, and you really get to see like Fee isn't just a scoundrel who's out here trying to make money. She's really trying to like save things that are important to cultures and people who aren't necessarily there anymore, or really like preserve history and those treasures. So I find it so touching that Omega made the decision that the goggles and Lula are the treasures for the batch. And like, these are the things that if you go to a museum and you want to know something about this crew, this is all you would need to look at to tell that story.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's so true because like Lula especially was important to every single member of the Bad Batch because she was that source of comfort for all of them, and she really did honestly represent the full heart of the Bad Batch. And just like seeing that decision to like leave her in the museum was just so touching. And oh my god, I'm pretty sure that was like the first like moment that like made me cry like in this episode. And it was just perfect. And I couldn't have asked for anything better, but it was also just the immediate moment knowing, oh my god, something is going to happen to the ship because everything vital is off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which isn't good.
You knew a storm was coming.
Huge.
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk about Fee because like we just mentioned Fee with the museum, and I love how we finally got some like time with her and to see her ship. Did we see it last season? I don't remember if we did or not.
I think we did. I think we saw it.
Possibly.
Maybe.
I liked her pirate sword. Her pirate vibro blade thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's always said that, but we gotta call out all the pirate stuff on here because we're marauders. Oh. So guys, do you want some quick American history about Fee's ship? You ready for this?
Sure.
So Fee's ship is named the Providence. So the Providence was the first warship in the Continental Navy for the United States during like the Revolution. So fun fact.
Wow.
Okay.
And there's
Also
a replica tall ship of it in Newport, Rhode Island still. So
Newport.
yeah, I did all this like research for this. I was ready to go.
Why is it in Providence?
That is in Rhode Island, at least. We got Providence. You got to drive like 45 minutes south to just go to Newport. There it is.
Drive the ship.
Tall ships. Come
Prettier in Newport.
Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, the Providence. I love how Fee, her ship is named after something that is like that, like little like historical like thing, and just make it not quite piratey, but like she is a pirate, and just like let's just like throw that out there.
Okay, I like that.
Good one.
That's a fun
good
fact.
observation.
It's a very
That
fun
is a
fact.
fun fact.
Mm. Museums, history, real life
Mhm.
history.
Yes.
There we go.
All the
That's all I
things
got.
that we love.
Yeah.
So we also had the return of her little droid Mel. I love seeing him just
I
like
love their
Mel fan.
banter, just back
Yep.
and forth.
yeah. I love seeing him just like toddle around. And honestly, I think that the real point of no return in this episode was she had to pick between fuel plus or premium fuel in order to refuel the ship.
It's
Yep.
expensive out there.
It is.
So yeah, I mean you never
it
know.
was what 1,500 credits, something like that. I was like,
It does seem like a lot for a
She doesn't
take.
even bat an eye. I mean, I guess it's normal. But.
I guess that is normal. I don't know the transfer rate on credits though, so
You know who couldn't
might be a
afford
lot,
that?
might be not a lot. I don't know.
That Aqualish back in the other episode. He could not. He could not.
He can now because he's got the credits, which is why he's going to buy himself a ship and he's going to fly himself to Tantus.
He only
with
got
the
62 cents.
62 cents.
Oh my god.
So,
Mr. Crab.
what was that other droid's name? Like the gas station attendant, Larry or something, or
Ollie, I think.
Ollie? Okay,
Yeah.
close.
Larry the droid.
Larry.
Larry the droid.
I can't wait.
I think he was Matt Lanter, voiced by him.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It was a great voice, whoever it was.
Pretty sure I saw the credits like come up with that. So I was like, hey, there it is.
Love that.
Yeah, so we've like glossed over like all the other things. Wrecker ordering the 2 ice cream cones, Crosshair like laughing at him or just being like, Jesus Christ. AJ and I have this like long-standing thing, like when we go to Fenway Park, this like joke between us in which we're like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna get like hot dogs to get the Fenway Franks, right? But I'm gonna take 2. So Wrecker was out there doing his I'll take 2 like moment, and I was like the 2 ice cream cones. Like
I'll take 2.
I'll take 2. Just so happy. Oh my gosh.
Clone
I'm
X.
on my notes.
Clone
Yeah.
X is like a big doof.
That guy.
It's so funny because he's like the elite guy that they send in to do stuff, and he's just like, I'll hide behind the ship. I'll wait till she goes into the other room. I'll just sneak on and then press a couple buttons. Oh no, she's got a car alarm. I never would have suspected this. What do I do, dude?
And he was successful though, unfortunately.
You're the elite of the elite. Yeah, he was successful. That's only
Barely.
because of, like, the loudest like rec punk music in the world. Like what the heck was that? Why were they listening to that?
Yeah, that
The
was
fun-
weird.
The funniest part is the droid Ollie was listening to that in the office the entire time, so it's not even like whatever.
Gotta make the day go by some way.
I know.
He's a droid.
You can
Clone
just
X.
sit down.
Clone X had a really cool, or has a really cool ship. We saw it earlier too, but like
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Like it's like the evil Jedi starfighter, like the evil.
A bit bigger than that, but yeah.
Well,
it
yeah,
reminds me of like Maul's ship or something in Phantom Menace.
the
Kinda, I don't know.
scimitar, the scimitar.
Sneaky. Yeah. And he parks in the same spot Asajj parked in. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's really important.
Friggin' Kevin.
That's the only like hiding spot like on this island. And I have a theory about that later on, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. What else is going on? So we saw the boys again. We saw the clone boys again. Mox Deacon,
Yeah.
Stack, just
We
like
did?
chilling on. Yes.
we missed them. What the heck?
They had
It's-
Hawaiian shirts on.
Yeah. They were so
Yeah,
casual.
They are enjoying their Pabu life.
Yeah.
They
They are
really
all
were.
about that.
They
Oh
were
my
getting
God, I
ice
gotta
cream.
rewatch. I gotta rewatch. I didn't even notice them.
They
There
were
was a lot going
literally
on.
What
at
was
the
I doing?
festivities getting ice cream, and like they're walking around like with Batcher, and like people in like the town are just like, "Oh, Batcher, you're such a good girl," and everything. And that's when Omega goes with Liana to do the
Scraping their
treasures.
hands on her sandpaper skin.
No,
Oh, She's exfoliating.
those are just like-
right? She helps.
Yeah, yeah.
that's the real reason. But yeah, they're there to support like the entire time. Like the boys are just like so happy, like actually being on like Pabu, and I just love to see like them in their bright Hawaiian shirts and their funny outfits. It's just so good.
Man.
Matt, you ready for this?
Uh-oh.
It's loading in.
Oh God.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, there they are. That's them. Holy crap.
Yeah.
How did you not know?
I don't
kinda-
know.
They kind of blend in
They do kind of blend
with
in.
with the crowd.
They weren't wearing their usual clone garb. I thought they were
He's
just
got the
like
snow cones.
Pabuans.
They're just a couple of guys.
I did know. I think my mind or my eyes were immediately drawn to the snow cones, and for the next like minute, I
This
was thinking
is-
about Star Wars. Like,
This is an
snow
actual
cones.
picture of me and Matt in Anaheim at
Dude,
Celebration.
no kidding. When are they going to make snow cones available at Galaxy's Edge now?
Soon,
Or whatever
hopefully.
they're called. I forget what
I don't
we
know,
call
but I
them.
think you need to bring your own, dress exactly like that, recreate this photo.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
We definitely
This is your
have to.
mission if you choose to accept it.
I accept it.
I accept.
Accept
100%.
immediately. I jokingly
Accept it,
said
like no hesitation.
Yeah.
like the moment this episode ended, I jokingly like texted someone and I was like, it'd be like a really funny Star Wars celebration, just like casual outfit, the 3 clones, like just like the little trio. That would
Or
be
even
a
just
lot
like
of fun.
a Pabu meetup, and everyone just wears clothes like that. That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Down. We're doing it.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we got? So and then everything happens. and then the ship explodes.
Yeah,
Everything
Uh,
happens.
Everything happens is a good
and it
way
all
to
goes
put it.
downhill.
It was a lot of charges to get the ship to explode. First of all,
3
They-
maybe,
he
yeah.
launched like at least like 3, maybe 4. And Wrecker hears it because Wrecker is just that good. Even though he only has the one hearing.
I feel like though he's not that good because he doesn't hear it at first. Like he's just like do 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 do, and like he's still going up the ramp, and then it's like the third one's coming on, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Hang on a second, did
Yeah.
you hear a buzzing?"
I
It's
think
good, but yeah, like maybe having only one. I don't know if like one side has better hearing than the other, but I assume it does.
definitely. I think that Gonki alerted him a little bit too. Now that I think about it, like he just starts like
He yells
freaking out.
something.
No, he like literally does start like freaking out. And then
Oh,
it all
yeah.
happens. Yeah.
So Wrecker's down for the count,
Wrecker's down for the count, and poor
Yeah.
Wrecker. Like he.
which I was
just
worried
didn't-
for a minute, but
I was too, but I was like,
I'm still-
no.
you're like not yet.
No
probably.
way.
Yeah.
Not
I'm still
yet.
pretty
Jeez.
Well, I don't
Louise.
know. I
What the
think
heck
something.
does that mean, buddy?
I think something bad's gonna happen.
Oh my god.
We know the time period isn't positive.
I know.
I feel like we all understandably have trust issues too because
yeah.
of Plan 99.
Yeah,
It's like
Oh.
after that,
it could happen at
there's
any minute.
just exactly like no one's safe. Everything's bad. Everything's
Oh.
terrifying. Like it's
Oh my
good.
goodness.
It's so good, but it's also just
Jamie's not doing well. Jamie,
my computer almost just Plan 99 itself. I'll be honest. My last 3 notes are ridiculous. My last 3 notes. You ready for this? They are
Let's hear 'em.
Hunter's takedown of the stormtroopers. Where
Ooh.
are Hunter and Badger, and Omega's selflessness? So let's talk about Omega first, actually,
Yep.
because that's actually like I think the most important piece out of all of that. The other 2 are just me being nuts. So Omega always has shown just like she will do anything for her friends and for her family, and just being totally like selfless, and she's just like ready to like do anything on behalf of others. And she does, like she's like, this is my choice, that like I want to pretty much protect everyone on this island by giving myself up. And that's absolutely heartbreaking, because Crosshair is the one to just be like, yes, this is what you need to do. Even though it's not like she needs like permission to do it, but it's almost as though like he is the one to give that permission at the same time.
He's
Yeah.
like, look,
Ugh.
I just joined the group again. Don't do this. I'm in charge of babysitting you. You're really gonna do this to me right now?
it's like those guys are gonna be real mad.
They're gonna be
They're real mad at me.
Like the best reaction I saw after this episode was Crosshair is about to have the worst discussion of his entire life.
Dude,
Like-
no kidding.
Like-
Oh.
Aw.
I can't believe he missed the shot. I mean,
He had one job.
I know.
It
was a tough
Two
situation.
jobs, but
I don't blame him.
Those eagle-eyed stormtroopers. Since when can you see anything out of those helmets?
I know.
Since when?
The one time.
Ugh.
we have that awful shot in which like we knew that this was going to happen, where like it was going to be like they've been setting it up the entire season of like he's not 100%, and we know that he was going to like miss some vital shot at some point in time.
Yeah.
But seeing it happen is just absolutely like gutting. But earlier in the episode as well, like we also have like one of like the best snipes I've ever seen in my life. Like the pilot in the gunship is like, oh my god,
yeah.
I've lost control of the ship. It's compromised, and the operative is just like, all right.
Oh, in the Rex episode.
He just snipes him.
No, in this
No,
episode.
in this
one.
episode.
Okay,
when
yeah,
Hunter
yeah, yeah.
jumps on the
Hunter's on the
ship.
gunship,
You're
Yeah,
right.
the
and the
lab,
pilot
then-
is like, I've
and
been
he's like-
compromised.
Which brings
Uh-oh.
me to a theory.
Oh.
So people keep wanting to go around being like, oh, I think Clone X is tech. I think Clone X is fives, which is that's not the thing. And maybe Clone X is just nobody. But a random theory I came up with, and probably other people have too, is what if Clone X is a clone of Crosshair?
What do you mean random theory? I think we discussed this like last week.
I'm pretty sure we go over this
I
every
can't remember
week.
if that was a fever dream or we actually did.
We totally did. At
Did we?
least,
Okay.
if not
Okay.
last week, the week before. We've discussed that before, and I think
It's kind of cool, right?
I think yeah, and you know,
sounds like
Jamie kind of
Crosshair.
mentioned earlier that Omega, that Emery was a clone of Omega. So it seems like they could be cloning clones now, clones of a clone of a clone.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I honestly, the way he was talking made me think it was Crosshair or a Crosshair.
My only
To be fair, all the clones do kind of sound the same, though.
he sounds eviler.
True, but he sounds
Yes.
he's
It
like
just-
Yeah,
I don't
we
want
don't
to
rougher.
we don't have much backing it up. We have
burst your bubble here, but
None.
he made a long snipe
Made a long snipe. That's
and
one.
he talks evil,
sure.
Talks evil.
Yeah.
That's two.
Yeah.
and that's it.
If
Yeah.
he's
Does he have a
bald, that's
toothpick?
it.
There's a toothpick involved, I think.
If he tries to pull a
Oh.
toothpick out and like bumps it into his helmet, and he's like, "Oh crap," that's it. Then we'll know.
I think that they would get rid of the vices in this like reprogrammed Crosshair. I just gotta say, if it was, I think that they do a really good job of
You think they
hiding.
took the time to unprogram his toothpick chewing?
Yeah, exactly.
They were just like, "Oh, get rid of that in the computer," and they're just
Yeah,
typing.
and
Oh,
d-
yeah,
They were
put
like,
that
that
in.
annoys us. Let's just no.
Yeah,
delete.
get rid of this gene where he likes to chew toothpicks.
Yeah.
Cad Bane actually made them put that in so there'd be more toothpicks for him.
You know what? I'm the only one that can enjoy this. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, whoever this operative is, they do a really good job of blending the voice to make sure it kind of sounds like it is each of the members of the Bad Batch or just like other random clone. I personally have no idea who it is. I just want to be
Wrecker.
pleasantly okay. Really? Tell me why.
Wrecker's a big burly dude. This guy's not a big burly dude.
It's true.
Also, I think it would be impossible for them to be like, "Oh, I'm going in. I'm going to sneak in," but like,
Okay,
you can't disguise that voice.
Definitely.
He has a Lula like inside of his suit. Like, I don't know. Evil Lula.
Yeah.
Evil
Lula.
She was this
She
was
has
actually
the
made of
angry
trash.
Yes.
She's made of trash.
Evil Lula.
So yeah, we have Clone X doing his thing there.
Yeah, he has
Hunter falls into the water.
Right. Okay, so this is my last theory. Ready? Hunter falls into the water. And we get Wet Hair Hunter, and it's
Oh, you finally got
It
what you were
wasn't-
looking for.
I'll be honest, I'm disappointed.
Uh-oh.
But
This was a
Your
big
one
one. This
flaw.
has been building up for like 4 weeks now, guys.
God. But Batcher immediately finds Hunter because they're on the beach, right? Batcher immediately finds Hunter, and then they're off and running. Where do they go? We don't know. We have no idea. They just go. We don't see them again the rest of the episode. So you ready for this? My other big theory. They're on the beach. They're near the cavern. They get on the ship. They're on.
They
the
stowed
They
away on
stowed
the ship.
away.
Stowaways.
They stowed away like Obi-Wan did onto Padme's ship, right? It's that kind
in the
of situation.
closet.
They hide in the
Sitting
closet.
Sitting
like,
in the water closet for like
Hunter's like holding
45
Batcher.
hours.
Thatcher does the thing.
So it's a total like wild like crackpot theory, but like I really feel that's like something that could happen because like we don't see where they go. We don't know where they go. And I think
that you
that
thought
could
that
be
Hunter would bring Batcher onto the ship with him.
Yes.
That is
Here's the thing. Batcher would just go.
That's
Batcher
true.
would just go. And
Hunter
so
wouldn't
Hunter would
be
be
able
like,
to
oh
be
my
like,
god, the
"Mm."
dog is on here. And then suddenly the gangplank is like closing and then the ship is moving and Hunter's like, oh my god. So like I really feel that could happen. Look, if there's anything, I'm gonna like try and theorize like where Hunter is going at the end of this because I don't know where he went at the end of this. And like Crosshair needs to talk to him.
You mentioned that theory to me after we watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, you know what? They did like leave it off weird with Hunter.
Yeah.
Maybe it was weird to just show him running on the beach and then not show him again. I guess it was to show he was okay. And
Yeah.
and Batcher was okay.
How the heck
Um,
are we gonna get to Tantus? Like
because,
there's
like-
gotta be a way. There's gotta be something.
The other thing as well is like the operative scans Omega for trackers and like he finds like the one immediately to which they scan her like by her like neck chest area, and she takes the scanner like out of like her like pocket. So like I don't. So either she has like a second tracker on her, and she handed off like the fake one. There's a lot going on. So there's a lot of like, weird like, potential of like maybe she has another tracker on her. Obviously, crosshairs didn't land. Maybe someone stowed away.
Clone X, being the big doofus he is, didn't think to rescan her after she handed over her tracker.
I don't know.
True.
We'll never know.
Be thorough, dude.
I don't know. Look, there's a lot of like things that could have happened, and I feel like a lot of things that happened that we didn't see. Definitely in this episode. You know who didn't see anything? Wrecker.
Too soon.
He was asleep.
He'll be okay. He'll be fine.
He's gonna wake up and be devastated, but
he's gonna be. I don't want to. I'm not proud of that joke now.
One little Matt will like this parallel, but we talked about Omega being selfless and giving herself up to save everyone. So last week was the Asajj episode?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we had that, and Asajj was kind of teaching the ways, not of the Jedi, but kind of the Force to Omega. And then we can call it her Jedi training, because it was kind of like Last Jedi parallels on the island, balancing.
Yeah.
And then this week, one of the most Jedi things that we always see is being selfless and giving yourself up in that kind of moment. So I don't know if like that's what anyone was going for, but I kind of thought that was a cool little parallel.
I love that. That's fantastic. I really do love that.
There you go. I knew Matt would like that one. So
Omega's got the heart of the Jedi.
Oh, she does. She
really does.
Just the heart and soul of. She's the best of all of us.
Oh yeah.
I like to watch with the captions on because I find I miss things otherwise. And I thought it was just great that, according to the captions, it's like Crosshair takes a shot, bunks it, and you just see sigh. And then the thing is like Omega strapping in and she's just sighing. So like there's a little parallel there too. But then like she starts to, and I don't think this is actually captioned, but like she starts to breathe in a way that made me think like, oh, she's using the same like thing that Gunji taught her. She's using the same things that she was trying to teach Crosshair a couple episodes ago, I think now, but just like this kind of entering this like meditative state and like just kind of trying to chill out because she's in a really tough situation. And I thought that was so beautiful. And then like coupled with the kinders again, like the music and that moment, just really heart-wrenchingly beautiful.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that, because I don't know how I forgot about that, because I was freaking out when she was doing that, because I was like, oh my god, that's awesome.
The details in the show are just phenomenal. Like the meditating, so good.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add, because like I got it off my chest. Like the biggest thing that was like my problem with the episode, or not even my problem, but just like my grievance.
Well, was Hunter's hair wet? Like,
that wasn't the grievance. I'm sorry. You thought that was the grievance?
the Havoc Marauder blows up and AJ's like, oh, she's disappointed. She's disappointed about the hair.
Was Hunter's hair wet enough?
I don't know.
That's the grievance.
Okay. I'll have you know, maybe like 4 weeks ago, I was so upset that the potential of Hunter not having the wet hair like wasn't gonna happen. I was so upset. I was like, fine, I will do it myself. I took cosplay photos. I literally stood in the shower in my full outfit with the hair and like did like what if photos. I'm not even kidding.
Star Wars what if Hunter's hair is wet.
Hunter's hair is wet.
That's a monkey paw situation, because you got what you wanted, but you had to trade the Marauder to get it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
This was a at what cost?
Yeah.
Episode. But yeah, the Marauder blowing up was
it was brutal. We knew we kind of thought it was coming. I don't want to say we knew it was coming. You apparently knew it was coming, Jamie. But
I didn't know it was coming because I could tell in the scene. But like, let's.
Character of the week? Character of this episode?
Oh, yeah. Character of this episode.
Yeah. So character of this episode.
I know mine.
What do you got, Matt?
Oh, it's Wrecker. 100%. Just for saving Gonki. For thinking about Gonki. The Havoc Marauder is about to blow up. He's arguing with this droid, and the first thing he does is tackle the droid into the water. Dude, he's my hero. It's like every week I love Wrecker even more, and I cannot imagine loving Wrecker any more than I do now. He saved our
Wrecker
boy.
really is your guy.
He is. I love him, and I love Gonky, and I'm so glad he saved Gonky.
Kristin, who is your character of this episode?
I'm going with Omega.
Okay, I like that.
I love her every week, but especially in this episode, I feel like she's really showing off that big sister energy that we've been seeing a lot more this season, you know, where she's just like, I'm going to take control of the situation. Everyone I love is in danger. Everything I love is in danger. So like, let me just, I know the answer. It's no one's happy about it, least of all me, but let me just do this thing. And, you know, and just like the speech she gives, you know, it's very brief, but the moment she has with Tech where she's like, complete the mission. I'm just a small part of this. I was just like, oh, she's so wise. So Omega.
Yeah.
Great choice. Great choice. Always a great choice.
Omega sweep?
No.
Oh.
You guys know where it's going. It's Wet Hair Hunter. No,
I thought it was gonna be the Marauder.
No, it's the Marauder.
Oh,
It's the Marauder. Because the Marauder is a character, and it always has been a character in the show. And I wouldn't be me if I did not pick the Marauder as my character of the week. Although that being said, I actually do want to honorable mention just Hunter in general, because I actually loved how they showed him actually using his abilities again. In this episode, like he like heard like the birds like flying away and was just like, something's happening. Hang on, something's going down. And then it also showed so much of his like hand-to-hand like combat skills. Like there was so much of that in this episode. So if I had to actually pick a character that's a person, Hunter. If I had to pick a character that is a character in my heart and always will be, the Marauder. There you go.
I like that. It's always good to give two answers. That's always my famous thing. But this week I'm going to choose one for this one. Not an Omega sweep, but I'm going to choose Omega. I mean, she saved Pabu, like for that reason alone. I mean, she was the reason that it came to that. Maybe she wasn't alone in that. The Bad Batch collectively, I guess, and the Empire. But there's a lot of people at fault. But she saved the rest of the island from being burned down, as Clone X said they would have done if they didn't find her. So that museum hopefully lives on with everything in there, and the rest of the Pabuans live on. I don't think we had any casualties or anything. I don't know, except the Marauder. So Omega saved everyone. She's just so heroic.
As long as the Empire, you know, leaves, there's not going to be any problems. But
yeah, that's a good point.
Will they leave?
Wrecker will make him leave when he wakes up.
He wakes up. Get out.
Everybody out.
No ice creams for you. Get out.
Yeah.
Go.
Seriously.
Chad
yeah,
and Clone Humor pointing out Shep as well.
Yes,
really
honorable mention. Just
we finally saw Shep. Yeah,
and he was ready to like defend like the town to like the end of the day. Like he was ready. He's I'm the mayor of this town, and you guys need to leave. So actually, he would kick the Empire out. I feel like he could do it. He could do it on his own.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two
so
great episodes.
Really, really quickly.
So good.
Because we talked so long about the Bad Batch, as we always do. Really quickly, we need to talk about Tales of the Empire.
Yes.
Because the news dropped yesterday that we will be getting Tales of the Empire on May 4th this year. And we all thought it was going to be Tales of the Jedi 2, but it's actually Tales of the Empire. So, excuse me.
Plot twist.
I'm not excited. Guys, what do you think?
I was shocked.
Same.
I cannot believe. First of all, I can't believe that we're finally getting to see Barriss as an Inquisitor, as a lot, 1.5 million people have been talking about for 10 years now, longer, and we get to learn about Birdface. I can't wait to learn more about Birdface. That literally the first, I was watching the trailer, and the first thing I was like, oh. Is that the Birdface Inquisitor that fought Ahsoka in Tales of the Jedi season 1 that turned into smoke? Right next to the other Inquisitor that turned into smoke?
And young Thrawn.
Two smoke guys. Unbelievable. Can't wait.
I completely forgot that Birdface turns into smoke.
Yeah,
I had no idea who you were talking about at first. I'm just like,
Birdface.
He was the original fart. He's the original fart Inquisitor, and then Marok totally stole his thunder. But he was the original fart in the wind Inquisitor that I was dying to learn more about.
Well, there you go.
So can't wait. I hope we get at least the name. And
wasn't he Clancy Brown?
Sister. Yeah.
I don't remember.
So we
Yeah,
get
he was.
Clancy Brown again, hopefully, if he has
Hopefully.
a voice in the series.
And
Always love some
It's
Clancy
It's
Brown.
the fourth sister, right?
Yes.
I
Mm.
cannot
Who's
wait
in
to learn
Kenobi.
more about the fourth sister.
That's
because
really cool.
I loved her design in Kenobi. Couldn't wait to see her, more. And I can't wait. I can't believe we're getting to see her more.
Yeah. I'm also just super excited for Morgan Elsbeth and that backstory
yeah,
as well.
And the
That-
two main characters, yeah.
That blew me
So,
away.
I'm amped to see the fact that we got the end of her story, and now we're actually gonna see like kind of the beginning of her like inciting incident and see the whole massacre on Dathomir. Like that is gonna be incredible to actually see. And this is another moment I'm just like, I'm glad Star Wars is showing the atrocities. Like it's so fulfilling sometimes.
I know. And the trailer was so good. Like, it's the Kiners again doing the music, right? So like the Kiners once again, so good. That like siren noise in there too. That's always a great thing in a trailer.
Yep.
And the way that they made the title burn into from Tales of the Jedi to Tales of the Empire, I was like, oh, I'm sold.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that was
That was Clone
Hardcore.
Wars into the Bad Batch and Jedi
Yeah.
into the Empire all over again.
So good.
So good.
May 4th. So it's not less than a month at this point. So
yeah. And a day before
Ooh,
Sorry.
our Phantom Menace theater extravaganza.
Hey,
Oh my gosh, yes.
Let's go.
Oh,
Gonna be a good weekend. So
That's gonna be a great weekend. Are you kidding? We're gonna get the finale of Bad Batch. We're gonna get Tales of the Empire, and we're getting the Phantom Menace in theaters again. I can't think of a better weekend.
but when will we sleep?
who needs it?
Sleep is for after. Sleep is for after all that.
Mm.
I had a thought and I tweeted it out, but I said that whenever a Star Wars trailer drops, and especially when it's a surprise one, like any room that you're in turns into Star Wars Celebration. Like there's that like feeling at Star Wars
Oh,
Celebration, like so much excitement, whether you're at Celebration or you're at home, like seeing the releases come out. Like it was just such a fun feeling when that trailer came out yesterday. So
Oh, we're getting the Outlaws trailer on Tuesday
Next week.
Story
Yeah.
trailer.
wow,
Something
yeah,
next week?
A lot of stuff going on.
yeah,
What
So
a
much
A lot of
time,
stuff.
what
Really?
a time to be a Star Wars fan.
yeah,
This
absolutely.
month. Unbelievable.
So much stuff that has been thrown at us this week, but I have to ask, Kristin, before we let you go, is there anything that you're working on that you're allowed to tell us about that's coming up?
No.
Oh,
Alright.
I almost got her. No, I'm kidding. Well, if there is anything in the future, I'm always looking forward to it. So we'll see what happens with that. But thank you so much for
Me
joining us
too.
tonight. To join us
Yes.
to talk about the Bad Batch and a little bit about Tales. And thank you for putting up with all of everything with our show. We'd love to have you here, though.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
No, thank you for having me. Always a joy to talk about the best plushies in Star Wars that we would want for ourselves, books, Bad Batch, Tales of the Empire, just all the fun stuff. Celebration.
Yeah.
So much good stuff. So yeah. No, thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Of course.
Thank you.
And so, of course, thank you, AJ and Matt, for joining me tonight. I'm Jamie on Holland Marauders. Thank you, everyone in the chat who has joined us tonight as well, if you've been chatting along live. If you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, thank you for sticking around for the entire time. And then also, you can take this as a podcast to go on your favorite audio listening platform. It'll be up in the next day. But thank you so much for listening. You can find Holland Marauders everywhere on social media at Holland Marauders. And that's it. This is the Holland Marauders podcast. We'll see you guys next week for more Bad Batch nonsense and recaps. See you, everybody.
See ya.
Goodbye.